Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about something very deep. To know who you are, you must first know who you are not. Most people are confused about their identity. They try to become everything. They follow too many paths. They listen to too many opinions. And because of this, they lose themselves. They don't know what they truly want. They don't know what truly matters. They don't know who they really are. But here is the truth. Clarity does not come from adding more. It comes from removing what is unnecessary. When you remove what is not you, what remains is your true self. In this video, we are going to learn powerful lessons that will help you eliminate confusion, reduce distractions, and discover what truly matters in your life. Because sometimes you don't need to find yourself. You just need to remove what you are not. So watch this video till the end because this can change the way you see yourself and the way you live your life. Let's begin. Lesson 1. You are not your roles, labels, or opinions. The first step to knowing who you are is this. Understand who you are not. Most people build their identity on things that are not truly them. They say, I am my job. I am my success. I am what people think about me. I am my past. And slowly, they start believing it. But here is the truth. These are not you. These are just roles. These are just labels. These are just opinions. Now understand this clearly. A role can change. A label can change. People's opinions can change. So how can something that changes define who you are? Now let's go deeper. Imagine this. You lose your job. Does that mean you lose yourself? No. Imagine people stop praising you. Does that mean you lose your value? No. Imagine your situation changes. Does that mean you are a different person? No. Because your true self is deeper than all of this. Now, here is something very important. Most people never question their identity. They accept what the world gives them. They accept labels. They accept expectations. They accept definitions created by others. And because of this, they live a life that is not truly theirs. Now here is the powerful shift. You must start questioning. Ask yourself, is this really me or just something I'm doing? Is this my truth or someone else's expectation? Am I living my life or trying to fit into something? These questions create awareness. Now let's go even deeper. Your thoughts are also not you. Sometimes your mind says you are not good enough. You cannot do this. You are not capable. But these are just thoughts. They come and they go. They are not permanent. And if something is not permanent, it cannot define you. Now imagine this. You stop identifying with everything. You stop attaching yourself to labels. You stop depending on others' opinions. You stop believing every thought. What happens? You feel free. Free from pressure. Free from confusion. Free from expectations. Now you are not trying to be something. You are discovering what you truly are. Now here is something very powerful. When you remove what you are not, you create space. And in that space, your real self begins to appear. Not forced, not created, but discovered. Now imagine this. You are not trying to impress anyone. You're not trying to fit in. You are not trying to prove anything. You are just being. And in that state, you start understanding yourself. Now, let me give you a powerful line to remember. You are not what you do, not what others say, and not what your mind tells you. So from today, stop defining yourself by labels. Stop depending on opinions. Stop attaching your identity to temporary things. Because the moment you remove what is not you, you take the first step toward discovering who you truly are. This is the first step. Know who you are not, and you will begin to know who you are. Lesson 2. Remove what doesn't align with you. The second step to knowing who you are is this. Start removing what is not aligned with you. Because clarity does not come from adding more things into your life. It comes from removing what doesn't belong. Most people live in confusion because they keep everything. They keep habits that don't help them. They keep relationships that drain them. They keep lifestyles that don't feel right. And because of this, their mind becomes crowded. Their life becomes unclear. Now understand this clearly. You cannot discover your true self in a life full of noise. Now let's go deeper. Imagine this. Your life is full of distractions. Too many choices, too many opinions, too many directions. What happens? You feel lost because you don't know what matters. But now imagine something different. You start removing. You reduce distractions. You stop doing things that don't feel right. You distance yourself from what drains you. What happens? Your life becomes simple. And in that simplicity, you start seeing clearly. Now here is something very important. Alignment means what you do matches who you are. Your actions feel right. Your decisions feel natural. Your life feels true. But when you are not aligned, you feel uncomfortable. You feel confused. You feel like something is missing. And many people ignore this feeling. But that feeling is a signal. It is telling you, this is not for you. Now here is the powerful shift. Start listening to that feeling. If something doesn't feel right, question it. If something drains your energy, observe it. If something doesn't match your values, remove it. Now, let's go even deeper. Removing is not easy. You may have to let go of habits. You may have to let go of people. You may have to let go of certain paths. And this can feel uncomfortable. But remember, you are not losing something important. You are making space for something real. Now imagine this. You remove everything that doesn't align with you. Now your life is not crowded. Your mind is not confused. Your energy is not divided. At that point, what remains becomes clear. Your interests become clear. Your values become clear. Your direction becomes clear. Now here is something very powerful. You don't need to chase clarity. Clarity appears when you remove confusion. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. Your true self is not something you create. It is something you reveal by removing what is not you. So from today, stop adding more. Stop trying to be everything. Stop holding on to what doesn't feel right. Start removing. Because the more you remove what is not aligned, the closer you get to who you truly are. This is the second step. Remove what is not you and clarity will follow. Lesson 3. Reduce your options to discover your direction. The third step to knowing who you are is this. Reduce your options. Because too many choices create confusion. Most people believe more options means more freedom. But the truth is, more options often mean more confusion. When you have too many choices, you don't know what to pick. You keep changing directions. You keep doubting your decisions. And slowly, you lose clarity. Now understand this clearly. Clarity comes from limitation. When you reduce your options, your focus becomes stronger. Now let's go deeper. Imagine this. You have many paths in front of you. You try one, then you stop. You try another, then you change. You keep switching. What happens? You don't go deep into anything. You stay at the surface. And because of this, you don't discover what truly suits you. Now imagine something different. You choose one path. You remove the rest. You focus. What happens? You go deeper. You understand more. You discover if it is truly for you or not. This is powerful. Now, here's something very important. You don't find your direction by trying everything at once. You find your direction by eliminating what is not right, step by step. Now let's go even deeper. Every time you remove an option, you become clearer. This is not for me. This doesn't feel right. This is not my path. And slowly what remains becomes your direction. Now imagine this. You start with many options, but one by one you remove what doesn't align. You remove what doesn't interest you. You remove what doesn't feel true. What happens? Your choices become fewer, but your clarity becomes stronger. Now here is the powerful shift. Stop trying to keep every option open, because keeping everything open keeps you stuck. Instead, close some doors, not out of fear, but out of clarity. Now let's talk about courage. Reducing options requires courage because you are letting go of possibilities. You are saying this is not for me, and that can feel uncomfortable. But remember, you are not losing opportunities. You are finding your path. Now imagine this: you have fewer choices but more focus. You are not confused. You are not distracted. You are moving in one direction. At that point, your life starts moving forward. Now here is something very powerful. Your direction is not found in chaos. It is found in simplicity, and simplicity comes from elimination. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. The fewer your options, the clearer your path. So from today, stop trying to do everything. Stop keeping every door open. Stop fearing commitment. Choose, focus, eliminate. Because the more you reduce your options, the closer you get to your true direction. This is the third step. Reduce your options and discover who you are becoming. Lesson 4. Silence the noise to hear yourself. The fourth step to knowing who you are is this: silence the noise. Because you cannot hear your true self in a life full of noise. Most people are surrounded by noise all the time. People's opinions, social media, constant information, endless distractions. And because of this, they are always listening to others but never listening to themselves. Now understand this clearly. If you keep listening to the world, you will lose your own voice. Now let's go deeper. Imagine this. Every day you are consuming something. Videos, posts, opinions, advice. Everyone is telling you what to do, how to live, what success looks like. And slowly you start following. You start copying. You start comparing. You start losing your own thinking. Now ask yourself, is this really what I want, or is this what I have been told to want? This question is powerful because it creates awareness. Now here is something very important. Your true self speaks in silence, not in noise. It is a quiet voice, a feeling, a thought, a sense of clarity, but you cannot hear it. If your mind is always busy, now imagine this. You take time for silence. No phone, no distractions, no noise, just you. At first it feels uncomfortable. Your mind is restless. Your thoughts are loud. But if you stay slowly, things change. Your mind becomes calm. Your thoughts become clear. And now you start hearing yourself. Now let's go even deeper. Silence brings awareness. You start noticing your real thoughts. You start understanding your real feelings. You start seeing what truly matters to you. Not what others want, but what you want. And this is powerful. Now here is the powerful shift. Create moments of silence in your life, even a few minutes a day. Sit with yourself. Think, reflect, observe. Because in that silence, you reconnect with yourself. Now, imagine this. You are not influenced by every opinion. You are not distracted by every trend. You are not controlled by external noise. You are calm. You are clear. You are connected to yourself. At that point, you don't need to search for answers outside. You start finding them within. Now here is something very powerful. The world is loud, but your truth is quiet, and only those who create silence can hear it. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. Silence is where you meet your true self. So from today, reduce the noise. Limit distractions. Spend time with yourself. Because the more silence you create, the more clearly you understand who you are. This is the fourth step. Silence the noise and discover your inner voice. Lesson 5. Let go of who you thought you had to be. The fifth step to knowing who you are is this. Let go of the version of yourself that was never truly you. Most people are not living as themselves. They're living as expectations. Expectations from family, expectations from society, expectations from others. They try to be what others want them to be. Successful in a certain way, respectable in a certain way, acceptable in a certain way, and slowly they forget who they really are. Now understand this clearly. Just because something is expected from you does not mean it is meant for you. Now, let's go deeper. From a young age, you are told what is right. You are told what is wrong. You are told what you should become. And without realizing, you start building a life based on those ideas. But ask yourself, is this what I truly want? Or is this what I was told to want? This question can change your life. Now here is something very important. Living someone else's expectations will always feel heavy because it is not your truth. You may succeed, but you will not feel fulfilled. You may achieve, but you will not feel complete because deep inside you know this is not you. Now here is the powerful shift. You must let go. Let go of the pressure to fit in. Let go of the need to please everyone. Let go of the identity that was forced on you. Now this is not easy because you may feel fear. What will people say? What if they don't understand? What if I fail? But remember, living a life that is not yours is the biggest failure. Now imagine this. You stop trying to meet everyone's expectations. You stop pretending. You stop forcing yourself into something that doesn't feel right. What happens? You feel lighter because now you're not carrying a life that doesn't belong to you. Now let's go even deeper. Letting go creates space. Space for honesty, space for clarity, space for truth. And in that space, your real self starts to appear. Not what you were told to be, but what you truly are. Now imagine this. You are making decisions based on your truth. You are choosing your own path. You are living your life, not someone else's version of it. At that point, you don't feel lost anymore because you are aligned. Now here is something very powerful. You don't become yourself by adding more. You become yourself by removing what is not you. And expectations are one of the biggest things you must remove. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. You cannot find yourself while trying to be someone else. So from today, stop living to impress others. Stop trying to fit into expectations. Stop holding on to an identity that doesn't feel true. Let go. Because the moment you release who you thought you had to be, you finally create space to become who you truly are. This is the fifth step. Let go and return to yourself. Lesson 6. Pay attention to what naturally pulls you. The sixth step to knowing who you are is this. Pay attention to what naturally pulls you, because your true self is not forced. It is revealed through what feels natural to you. Most people try to figure out their identity by thinking too much. They analyze, they overthink, they try to logically decide who they are. But identity is not only something you think, it is something you feel. Now understand this clearly. What naturally attracts you often reflects who you truly are. Now let's go deeper. Think about this. There are certain things you are naturally drawn to, certain activities, certain topics, certain ways of living. You don't force it. You don't need motivation. You just feel interested. You feel connected. And that feeling is important. Now imagine this. You are doing something, and you lose track of time. You are focused. You are engaged. You feel alive. That is not random. That is a sign. Now here is something very important. Many people ignore these signs. They say this is not practical. This is not important. This is just a hobby. And they move away from it. But in doing this, they move away from themselves. Now here is the powerful shift. Start observing your natural pull. What excites you? What interests you? What makes you feel alive? Not what others say, but what you feel. Now let's go even deeper. Your natural interests are clues. Clues about your personality. Clues about your direction. Clues about your identity. But you must pay attention because these clues are quiet. They don't shout. They appear as feelings. Now imagine this. Instead of forcing yourself into things, you follow what naturally pulls you. What happens? You feel more connected. Your actions feel easier. Your energy feels higher. Your direction feels clearer. Now here is something very powerful. Your true self does not need pressure. It does not need force. It flows. And when you align with that flow, your life becomes more natural. Now let's talk about trust. You must trust yourself even when it doesn't make sense to others, even when it feels uncertain because your journey is yours, not theirs. Now imagine this. You trust your instincts. You follow your natural interests. You move in a direction that feels right. At that point, you are not confused anymore. You are discovering. Now here is something very important. This does not mean everything will be easy. There will still be challenges, but the difference is you will feel connected to your path, and that makes everything meaningful. Now, let me give you a powerful line to remember. What naturally pulls you is pointing you toward who you truly are. So from today, stop ignoring your inner signals. Stop forcing yourself into what doesn't feel right. Stop doubting your natural interests. Pay attention. Follow the pull. Because the more you follow what feels true, the closer you get to your real self. This is the sixth step. Follow what naturally pulls you and discover your true direction. Lesson 7. Become comfortable being alone with yourself. The final step to knowing who you are is this. Learn to be alone. Not lonely, but alone with yourself. Because if you cannot sit with yourself, you will never truly know yourself. Most people are always surrounded by something. People, noise, distractions, entertainment. They avoid being alone. Why? Because silence feels uncomfortable. Being alone brings thoughts. Being alone brings questions. Being alone brings truth. And many people are not ready to face that. Now understand this clearly. If you are always distracted, you will never meet your real self. Now let's go deeper. When you are alone, there is no one to impress, no one to compare, no one to follow. It is just you. And in that space, your real thoughts appear, your real feelings appear. Your real self begins to show. Now imagine this. You sit alone. No phone, no noise, no distractions. At first it feels strange. Your mind becomes restless. Your thoughts become loud. But if you stay slowly, things change, your mind becomes calm, and now you start understanding yourself. Now here is something very important. Being alone teaches you independence. You don't depend on others for happiness. You don't depend on others for validation. You don't depend on others for identity. You become complete within yourself, and this is powerful. Now let's go even deeper. When you are comfortable being alone, you make better decisions because you are not influenced by others. You are not pressured. You are not distracted. You are clear. Now imagine this. You enjoy your own company. You understand your thoughts. You respect your feelings. You trust yourself. At that point, you don't feel lost because you are connected to yourself. Now here is something very powerful. You don't discover yourself in noise. You discover yourself in solitude. And solitude is not emptiness. It is clarity. Now imagine this. You are calm even when alone. You are clear even without guidance. You are strong even without support. At that point, you truly know who you are. Now let me give you a powerful line to remember. The more comfortable you are being alone, the closer you are to your true self. So, from today, spend time with yourself. Sit in silence. Reflect. Because the moment you stop running from yourself, you finally start discovering yourself. And when you truly know who you are, you don't need validation. You don't need approval. You don't need to prove anything. You simply live as yourself. This is the final step. Be alone with yourself and you will find who you truly are. So this is how you discover who you truly are. Not by adding more be, but by removing what is not you. You are not your labels. You are not others' opinions. You are not your past. Remove what doesn't align. Reduce your options. Silence the noise. Let go of expectations. Follow what naturally pulls you and learn to be alone with yourself. Because the truth is simple. Clarity is not something you find. It is something that appears when confusion is removed. If you learned something valuable from this video, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell because we bring you powerful lessons that can transform your thinking and your life. And always, remember, you don't need to become someone new. You just need to remove what you are not. I will see you in the next video.